It's very simple. And here's what the saying is. I would write this down, guys, somewhere if you listen to this. One problem solved is another problem created, right? So if you're shrinking, that's painful. If you're growing, that's painful. You know why? Because if you're growing, you're solving a lot of problems.
Hello, and welcome to Build Your Remarkable Practice podcast. This podcast is dedicated to chiropractors who are in the seasons of launching and building their practice. Join myself, Dr. Lona, and my co-host, Dr. Bobby, as we have conversations each week as it relates to building the practice of your dreams. And remember, you can have a remarkable practice as part of a remarkable life, not instead of one. We're here to lead you on the way.
What is up, team? Welcome back to the Build Your Remarkable Practice podcast with a fantastic Dr. Lona Cook and myself, Dr. Bobby Ladowski. Dr. Lona, what's going on? You've been busy opening more offices, I hear.
Well, more locations bringing chiropractic in. But yeah, they're like satellite offices, sort of. They're kind of like just a different location, but doing the same thing, right?
And those are in the schools that you've been opening?
Yep, we are bringing chiropractic into more schools, and we're actually helping 2 other chiropractors bring care into their local schools. So we just see that the time is of the essence to bring chiropractic into more places and just think outside the box too and how we do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Whenever I speak to you, obviously this project continues to expand further and further. But you brought up an interesting point in our pre-show discussions today. And one of the things that you said is that obviously as you're growing, and especially when you go through periods where you're growing quickly, or then you go through seasons when you go into scales. So scales when you start having multiple team members, multiple locations, right? You start to have a lot more resource behind you as well. But what we're talking about is how important it is to regularly stop and zoom out and take a whole view of the business picture. So do you want to share with everyone what that means? Because we know that in chiropractic, that the core essence of a chiropractic business remain the same. There's 5 critical domains that you've got to get right. And those domains are attraction, conversion, retention, team building, collections. I like to call collections model as well, because if you have the wrong business model, your collections are going to suffer and your profit margins are going to suffer. But you were the person that brought this up and said, you know, how important it is to stop, zoom out, and look at those 5 different domains. So why don't you take us through? Sorry, I've got a toddler here in the background making a lot of noise.
That's awesome.
Why don't you, yes, very happy, healthy family. Why don't you take us through, what does that mean for you? And on the back of that, how do you leverage that to help grow your offices?
Yeah, I think a lot of chiropractors are confused as to where they need to put their energy and their focus to grow to the next level. They maybe don't know where their problems exist because we're so busy in our day-to-day without having that bird's eye view of like, why are we getting the results we're getting, good, bad, or otherwise, in our business, right? So as Bobby laid out these 5 domains of attraction, conversion, retention, team building, and collections, I now look at them after being in TRP for so long, like they're the dials on the practice. And each one of those dials has littler dials underneath them. But when we start to actually understand what, a healthy attraction for our business and our model of where we want to grow would look like, what healthy conversion would look like, meaning taking people, linking arms with them and beginning the journey of chiropractic, and then building a bigger cup to hold more water, essentially more capacity in our practice, that's retention. And part of how we build that bigger cup is having great A players and adding people strategically at the right time and leveraging and using their genius and developing them. And all of that then also has to be driven by, does the numbers work? Do we have money to invest back into the practice, to invest back in the marketing, to invest back in hiring? And I think many times people aren't aware which domain is actually strangling their ability to grow to the next level. And that can feel really frustrating because you don't understand, or maybe don't even have stats for the different domains. And so you're spinning your wheels. Bobby, how about you? When you think about these different elements, like you see so many practices that are scaling, but also when you think of like the beginning of scaling and teaching people how to look at these domains, where do you think the issues generally lie in the beginning?
Yeah, I said, you said something there that was absolutely spot on. And that is that most people don't know. And then they get and that can be really frustrating. I find that there is not a sure word spoken, that a lot of practices don't know where their bottleneck is. Now, that's the paradox here, because in order to grow your business, you need to know it inside out, because you need to be, I call it the theory of constraints. And the theory of constraints is that wherever you are right now in your business, there is something that's stopping it going to the next level. It's the bottleneck. Okay. And a lot of people identify the wrong constraint, identify the wrong bottleneck that affects the throughput. So the throughput means, okay, if you start with the end in mind, so the end in mind should be, well, how many people do you want lifetime family wellness? What does that equal from a volume? What does that equal from a revenue point of view? Maybe I'm a little bit controversial in my thoughts here. I don't really care, but I say that if you are running a business, you are running a business. If you own a chiropractic office, you are running a business. So you owe it to all the people around you that you employ and the people that you serve to make that business strong and to make that business solid. And that should be your number one goal every single day when you wake up in the morning. How do I get my business stronger? Because in the beginning, we all open, probably selfishly for our own reasons. And we think, well, you know what? I want to have a life of freedom and help serve all these people and make great money doing it and, lead a big life. But what you actually start to realize the higher levels that you go up is that it's doing it for other people that actually is the biggest motivation. So first step is first, you need to know your practice. And if you're waking up in the morning not knowing what your number one constraint is, well, you probably need to speak to somebody that can help identify and eliminate these blind spots for you. Because I have a rule, one of my business rules, Lona, I live by a set of business rules that we run, operate our companies with. One of those business rules is I wake up and the first 4 hours of my day is spent absolutely going to town on the number one bottleneck of my business, right? And I can tell you anyone given moment what it is. Right now, it's delivery. So it's always either supply or demand. And supply ultimately means that we can't service the amount of people, business that we're bringing in. So that's what we've just done now. We've onboarded 2 new associates, okay? Sometimes it's a demand thing. We don't have enough demand for our service on the front end. We've got, our practitioners that are ready and chiropractors that want to be adjusting. Is it a demand thing, right? The way that you identify that is step 1, you get clear with your goals and where you're trying to go. Step 2, you need to know your metrics. And then step 3, you need to know what the benchmarks are for those metrics. So what I mean by that is you need to know how many newies do you need per month? What conversion rate do you need? How many people do you need re-signing into care? How many do you need dropping out? Okay, people are going to drop out. You've got to know that. And then you also have to be so steadfast in your vision about what you're trying to achieve that you already can see that. So you know where the company's going and then you team build accordingly as well. So I'm not sure if that answers it, but if you don't know your business and you don't know your metrics and you're not working with a mentor that's well steps ahead of you, you're going to find it that a lot of the time you're focusing in the wrong area. And when you focus in the wrong area, the needle doesn't move. So I agree with you that at least quarterly, you want to zoom out and break down attraction, conversion, retention, team building, the 5 domains of the practice, and grade yourself. Okay. So grade yourself 0 to 10 on each one of those domains, with 10 being fantastic and 0 being horrible. How well are you performing in each domain? All right. But if you don't know what the benchmarks are, like I can give you some benchmarks. So for example, Lona, whatever weekly volume that you're trying to get to from a volume point of view, you should roughly take 10 to 12% of that volume. And that should be your monthly new patient number. So if you're trying to get 300 visits a week, take 10 to 12% of 300, which is roughly 30 to 38. And 30 to 38, 36 is the number of new patients minimum that you need per month in order to get 300 visits a week. If you want to do it quicker, you'll need more than that. So there you go. Have a look at how many you're getting right now, evaluate, and then work out where you sit in the spectrum of things. We can do the same thing for conversion, retention, team building. I have metrics around and business model as well, but obviously it's deeper than this call. So when you do this, what method do you use to try and help eliminate your blind spots in business, and what's holding you guys back from going to the next level, or waiting to focus on in the upcoming quarter in order for you guys to manifest your vision and hit your goals?
Yep. Yeah. Like you, Bobby, I think sitting down often, at least quarterly, if not every month, and using these domains, asking yourself, maybe your leadership team, maybe the entire team, like how everyone would score and where did they see the lowest scores showing up? Like maybe we had a big quarter and we grew a lot because we had a lot of marketing stuff happening, but it exposed things in our retention process, right? Or exposed that we're short-staffed, again, to Bobby's point of like supply and demand here. So I think having people that you're sharing these thoughts with too on your team of like, we're looking at always like, how's attraction going in relationship to our goals, how the conversion is looking as we keep growing, maybe as we're training in new team members too, and they're becoming part of the conversion process. Like just because you've had good numbers in a domain one quarter doesn't mean that won't be exposed as an issue down the road as the team changes, as the system changes, all of that. So this is a constant, you're spinning these plates constantly, figuring out where your attention and where the team's attention and focus needs to go each quarter, and the projects that will fall under certain domains. So yeah, for us, it's a it's a constant process of looking at this. And I love the fact that you are just re-looking over, re-refining, looking for where you can gain more leverage. Maybe there was ideas that you already pulled from 2 quarters ago that you didn't have the team to execute on. Now there's a quarter to actually execute on it. To me, that's fun because you can feel that you're moving forward.
So you know what it is, Lona? It's very simple. And here's what the saying is. I would write this down, guys, somewhere if you listen to this. One problem solved is another problem created. Right? So if you're shrinking, that's painful. If you're growing, that's painful. You know why? Because if you're growing, you're solving a lot of problems. Let's give an example here. We evaluate our business. Okay, we sit down this quarter and back of this call and we say, I'm going to grade our 5 domains of our business 0 to 10. And we identify, you know what? Yes, based on what we said, we're not getting 10 to 12% of our goal as our number of new patients per month. So we need to put some focus on new patients. We need to reach out. We need to ask help about new patients. How do we make this happen? So then we solve that problem. All of a sudden, we go from having 20 new patients a month to having 40 new patients a month, the next level, right? It's like, whoa. Then suddenly we have a throughput issue. The throughput issue might mean we don't have enough DCs doing conversion in a timely manner, right? Like it's blowing out. We're having to book people like weeks in advance. It might be, you know what, we have a retention issue that we've got all the people that started care now, but you know what, like they're dropping out the first 12 visits. And so that's a problem. Or very often what happens, you have a team issue. It's like, you know, before we functioned with 1 CA or 2 CAs or whatever it is. Now we need a tech CA or we need floor CA and different roles start to become available. But essentially growth comes with pain. So one problem solved is another problem created, just so that you know. So embrace the problems, embrace the pain, and understand that when you grow, you are going to break a lot of stuff, but breaking things is good. All right. That's a sign that you're going in the right direction. However, it starts off with identifying where do you need to invest your resources. And so zooming out regularly and doing a review of the 5 domains is the starting place for that. So any tips and advice, Lona, because when this comes out now, we're going to be roughly around Q4, maybe the start of Q4. It is the perfect time to stop and recollect. We're going to go into the final part of the year, which traditionally is a great time for growth. We love this time of the year. So if I'm someone listening to this and I want to have a really strong finish of the year leading into Christmas and New Year's, and I want to take some tips from Lona about what she does now at this time of the year and how she reviews her 5 domains to help her grow, what advice would you offer someone there?
Yeah. Well, if you have a team, I would also squeeze your team to ask them some of these questions. So one of the habits that I love that we do, because I realize not everyone on my team loves when I just have face-to-face conversations with them. Like some of them would prefer if I gave them the questions in advance and they could really think through their answers and then fill that in. So as I developed as a leader, I realized doing both was important. And so I actually use a Google form once a quarter with my team, asking them questions about attraction, conversion, retention, team building, their wins, their challenges, their, needs for support, what they love doing, what they wish they could do more of. And that really helps me steer some of the resources of the team, as well as what I want to unpack when we have a quarterly meeting. And then, because Bobby, you teed me up for this, if we want to end the year strong and start 2026 well, that starts with our Q4 board meeting, kicking off, letting everyone know that we're not just starting into coast into the holidays once we get into the Thanksgiving timeframe. I think starting the quarter really strong with the end in mind, meaning this quarter obviously comes into the holidays and some unique scheduling that happens around then, and just knowing that this is the final push to end this year in alignment with our goals, and maybe sometimes make up territory if we've been behind on goals, and squeeze the juice out of this year to get us prepared for also a great year that we'll be coming into. So I think this is an important meeting. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I always go back to, as a leader, vision, like how important it is for you to get clear with your vision. In fact, there's this concept, which I can't draw on here, but it's called vector leadership. So if you find yourself in an environment right now where you want to grow your company, you are growing, you're going to have to expand your 5 domains, right? But it always starts off with you as the leader, okay? Whenever you have a problem inside your business, you should sit down, reflect, and ask yourself the question, where am I as a leader manifesting this or enabling this to happen, okay? So in vector leadership, what it says, the base of the table is people and culture. People make up your business. At the end of the day, that's what a business is. It's a collection of people coming together. And those people, how they come together, the energy that brings, that's what creates the culture of a business and creates the culture of a company, all right? So people and culture, think of this as a table, and they are the base of the table, which means they underlie a business. They're the foundation. Then we've got 4 pillars, okay, above that. And the 4 pillars, this is where you as a leader need to introduce this into your business, okay? Here are the 4 pillars. Pillar number 1, vision. So you as a leader, continue to think ahead and get clear with vision stories. In fact, when you look at EOS, an entrepreneurial operating system, and there's a book on the back of this that talks about it, they talk about a 3-year vision story and a 10-year vision story. And just earlier this morning when I was on a mastermind, super high level mastermind, right? 6-figure a year mastermind. That's how much it costs to be a part of this group. Okay. And we just got off that group, and the topic of conversation on the back of that was 10-year vision stories. Okay. And the process behind finding a 10-year vision story and how important that is in building your clarity and conviction around where we're going. So then when someone says, well, where we're going 2 to 3 years from now, which is how most humans think. Most humans think, where am I going to be this time next year? If that. Where am I going to be a quarter from now? If that. So when you are clear and you're super sold on a 10-year vision, 3 years becomes easy for you. And then 1 year, 12 months becomes a walk in the park. And that is part of building great people that you attract into your organization and culture. And you want to build a vision so big, that's what's needed to actually attract awesome people. People get attracted by that. Then step 2 is the rhythms inside of the business. So vector leadership, number 1, get clear in the vision. Number 2, get clear in the rhythms. So what rhythms do you guys run your business through? In the Remarkable Practice, we train on different meeting rhythms and training rhythms. There's daily rhythms, weekly rhythms, monthly, and then quarterly rhythms, right? But you need rhythms around how you guys stay connected. Part 4 of vector leadership is communication. So what are your communication channels like? Do you have online communication channels, offline communication channels? Is the team all talking, communicating? If you're a team of 2 or 3 people, you all need to be on the same page. This is a bit easier. But if you listen to what we tell you to do, you're quickly going to become a team much bigger than that. And then that gets more complicated. So what are the communication channels that you have? And then part 4 is clarity. And clarity is, well, how clear is everybody and how connected is everybody about where we're going, where we're moving forward? Because if you have an individual that lacks clarity, okay, that can start to create issues, and those issues can start to spread through the organization. So it's interesting how those 4 things, vision, rhythms, communication, and clarity, builds the people, builds the culture inside of your organization. And it's interesting how all 4 of those things start from above down, which is through the leaders. So one of the things that I do when I prepare for a quarterly board meeting is I look at those 4 key pillars that we just discussed, those 4 areas of vector leadership. And then I grade myself and the 5 pillars of attraction, conversion, retention, team building out of 10, how we're doing. And then I identify anywhere where I give myself a mark less than 8 out of 10, I identify, well, why did I give it less? What are the issues that I'm in my mind at least picking up? So then it prepares me with here are the issues, here are the challenges that we face in the quarter. But then also when you get into the board meeting time and you start to future cast and you go, well, what are the projects we're going to focus on? What do we need to put the energy in? What problems need solving? Then we can go straight to that issues list. And if your team can do the same, it's even more useful.
Yes. Yep. And the more the team is bought into the vision because you've been stewarding it to them as well, the more they're going to give you some of the answers you're looking for in how to fix some of these issues in attraction, conversion, retention. So it's like everything that, Bobby, you and I are teaching within TRP, which is like, you put these rhythms in place, you put these metrics in place, and they become more and more valuable to you the longer you're using them because you get better at stewarding them as the leader.
Yes, spot on. And success leaves clues. You may be coming off a quarter now that was a fantastic quarter. Same thing. Now stop, break down the 5 domains and ask yourself why. Because what you'll see is you'll identify why. You might look at it and go, well, actually, when I have a look at our numbers, our conversion have been solid. Like we've been great at signing people on care plans, been really good. But then you'll also look at your opportunities and you might think, oh yeah, team building, right? 6 out of 10 I only gave myself because we're a bit stretched. The team at the front is getting stretched. They've been complaining about being overwhelmed. So team-wise, we need to start making some hires now for this quarter to unlock the next level of growth and get rid of the next bottleneck. Because remember, it's always either a supply issue in terms of how we're supplying the product, the back end, or a demand issue. We don't have enough on the front end, people knocking down the doors, wanting what we have. And in today's society, guys, all right now, when we're filming this recording, if you don't have a demand issue, you're just not doing marketing right, because the world is absolutely coming to a place that chiropractors have been talking about for decades and decades and decades. Okay, there's this opportunity there. We live in a world right now where you make your own personal economy. Everyone on here has access to a mobile phone. You have an online presence. The only thing that's stopping you, I actually heard this really interesting quote, Lona, and I want to share it with everyone. I'm probably going to butcher the quote, but the quote, I want you to get the principle out of the quote rather than the actual word for word quote itself. And the principle out of the quote says this: 99% of problems that people manifest, okay? So 99% of problems people manifest, they actually self-manifest them, which means it's a man-made stress, it's a man-made problem. And usually it's because we've delayed taking action on things that we should have taken action on. And then we sell that under the guise of, I work better under pressure. Okay. So for example, I used to create problems for myself leading into exams when I was studying chiropractic school, right? Because probably like week 2, week 3, week 4, when I was learning material, maybe in the old chemistry days, I had to do chemistry in the early days. That was a challenge. I would procrastinate and make decisions of, I'm going to go out with my friends, right? Rather than keep up with my work. And I'll do the chemistry study later on. And then when the exams would come, I would be under a lot of stress, under a lot of pressure, right? So if I was proactive on time with just keeping up with the core content work, I had those guys in my year, I'm sure you had them as well, rocking up to the exams. I'm not stressed at all, right? And I was always like, man, I wish I could be more disciplined like you. So business is the same. Life is the same. If you're procrastinating, taking action or making decisions on things that you should be doing now, right, that will lead to stress down the line, because 99% of stress is self-made and self-manifested.
I would dare say 100%.
Yeah, maybe so. In fact, the person that taught me this did a 5-day cave experience. You go into a cave, all right, with nothing. You don't know what day it is. You don't know nothing, okay? And on the back end of that, it comes out of the cave and he goes, wow, I did not want to go back home. It made me realize how I don't need anything in life to be happy. I don't need my business. I don't need this. I don't need anything. I can make myself happy, which is absolutely amazing. And also a testament to, like we said, 99 to 100% of stress is actually self-made by the decisions that you're making. So make better decisions. And it starts off with reviewing your quarter, right? Be proactive with these things. When it pertains to your business, look at the 5 domains of your business, grade them, and that will quickly uncover where your opportunities for next level of growth will lie.
Very good. Love it.
And with that, we will leave you to it. All right, Lona, great as always chatting. Guys, if you enjoyed this, give us a follow on our podcast, or if you want to see how Dr. Lona and myself put it all together, follow us on our socials. Instagram is always easiest, and you can see all the fun behind the scenes work. Lona, great chatting as always, and I'll catch you soon.
Bye, Bobby.
See you guys.
Hey, Remarkables, let me ask you, can you imagine generating more than 600 qualified new patient leads per month? How about seeing 183 new patients in 1 month? Imagine your practice generating more than $100,000 a week in collections, on track to doing over $5 million this year. Sound impossible? Well, those are the real results that TRP's own Dr. Bobby Ilyajozovic is enjoying as we speak. Those are his July numbers, and August is going to be even better. Coach Bobby has been a new patient generation machine for nearly 10 years. I know, because I've been coaching him since day one, but now he is going totally bionic. He has cracked the code on new patient generation, and he is ready to share it all with you guys. Do you want to get in on this? Join us for the annual Remarkable Attraction Marketing Immersion, October 10th and 11th in Phoenix, Arizona, and October 24th and 25th in Adelaide, Australia. Coach Bobby will be walking you and your team through every step of his remarkable lead machine system. Click the link in the show notes below and register your team now. But Dr. Bobby's sessions are only one of the reasons that you and your team need to be at the Remarkable Attraction Immersion. Let me ask you, have you started using AI to drive new patients into your practice yet? There's a new era in marketing that's powered by AI, and it's creating a surge of new patients for docs that know how to leverage it. Don't miss this wave. Our team of experts will show you exactly how the most successful marketers are using AI to generate record numbers of new patient leads in internal marketing, external marketing, and of course, digital marketing. Have you developed a fully leveraged marketing machine where you'll have total confidence that you'll predictably smash your goals month after month after month? Stop leaving tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table due to lackluster internal new patient referrals. Stop wasting time and spinning your wheels trying to figure out how to get butts in seats for your outside speaking events. Stop throwing good money after bad on digital marketing. That's just not working. Doc, you should be seeing a 5 times to 10 times ROI on your marketing dollars. Our clients are crushing this. This weekend seminar will feature a 3-track format focusing on optimizing your internal, external, and digital lead generation. 9 breakout sessions in total, with a special emphasis on best practices leveraging AI for all of them. Bring your team. Everyone in your practice is a marketer. Let us inspire and equip them to help you fill your schedule book with more qualified new patients. Join us for the annual Remarkable Attraction Marketing Immersion, October 24th and 25th in Adelaide, Australia. Click the link in the show notes here or go to the remarkablepractice.com events page and register your team today.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Build Your Remarkable Practice podcast. Remember, what the world needs now is chiropractic, and what chiropractic needs now is more successful chiropractors. If you like the podcast, please subscribe, share with your friends, and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with us personally, please click the links in the show notes to schedule a call.